All right, looks like our first question, David Kelly, KVOA.
Hey, Coach, how are you tonight? You seem to be one of the more fiery guys on this coaching staff, just kind of watching you on tape get after guys. How would you kind of say you developed that style, and how do the players kind of react to that harder edge of coaching?
Well, I tell them it's hard coaching. There's never any yelling involved. And but I just have a passion for it. I think instant feedback, I love it. I want them to know that I want them to be the best that they can be, and I'm going to coach it that way. And if they want to be as good as what they say, then there's some things that they've got to be committed to doing every day. And if they don't, that is going to be much more difficult. So I think that's part of my responsibility, to give them my best, to be ready every day. And I do. I love it. You know, I'm being very fortunate to be able to be in this coaching profession.
Is there historically, I guess, a coach that you kind of draw from in that style?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked for some real intense guys, and that's been good. I would say my first dose of it was my high school coach. And he taught you to do right, be accountable, play with some toughness and some physicality. And I kind of grew up in that kind of an environment and neighborhood and small town. You know, that was just part of the culture. Blue collar, family, that kind of thing.
Next question, Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Coach. I'm wondering if the COVID protocols have impacted your ability to coach the way that you like to coach in any way.
Probably how I prefer to, but yet, you know, everybody's had to adjust to it. And I think even through Zoom meetings, you know, you can show a passion, a consistency with them, be fair, but be demanding on them. And it is a little more difficult. I would rather have them in the room so I can get immediate feedback and see it. I try to, you know, allow them to keep their video open so that we can see them. And so it was a little challenge, but we've been doing it long enough that you got to maximize whatever it is that you have available, and no one's going to care at the end of the day whether you know, you were able to you had a reason not to do it like you want to do it or get it done. The bottom line is they've got to understand it. They got to know you mean business, and you're going to hold them accountable.
What about on the field since this camp started? Is it pretty much the same as it's always been, or is it different in any way?
Well, it started out early. You know, we were in pod work. It was actually good because we got a little bit more work with them, but you really had to be careful. The social distancing, the mask up. Luckily, some of the players said me having a mask on didn't interfere with my enunciation and what I was talking to them about. So that wasn't bad. But yeah, it was different, but it was really, I think Coach Sumlin did a great job and talked to us about maximizing our time with the players. And it was just good to get around them. Even though we had to be social distancing, it was just nice to be able to interact with them and be able to communicate.
Next question, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
What do you like about the additions and just the, I guess, veteranship that guys like Aaron Blackwell and Roy Lopez bring?
I'm excited about both of them, you know, and Aaron and I have a history. And when we talked to him about coming here, I was actually surprised that he chose to come along with me again. I didn't know if 2 years would be enough, but I like the way he plays, okay? He's going to be accountable. He's going to be tough, understand what it takes, how to practice, and lead by an example. And he's been comfortable with that and is gaining more confidence in his ability here at this level and doing a great job and fitting in. And Roy, ironically, we played against, and so I did have some knowledge of him. And Roy has been is an explosive guy that I believe people will see and notice Roy Lopez along with Aaron Blackwell, and I'm certainly excited to have both of them.
And what were those conversations like with those guys when the Pac-12 announced that it won't be playing football until 2021? Was there any thought that, those guys could be leaving?
Well, I was hoping not. We had to talk to them about what it was. I think really that's a great question because they, there was no doubt they were disappointed, and there was a little uncertainty, and yet I think we stayed in constant communication with them, and still pressed on as if we would have some kind of season at some point in time. And so it wasn't going to go for naught, but yet it was hard, and you got to have a lot of respect for both of those guys coming in new and staying with it and buying into it, working hard with the off season. And, it was great to see the smile and the excitement on their face when they saw that the Pac-12 was loading up and we were getting ready to play.
Next question, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
Aaron Blackwell, I think he was pretty limited in spring when you had him. Where's his health at now compared to then?
Yeah, he's been cleared, and he's involved in everything that we do with him. And he's actually done a very good job of gaining confidence. Each day there's a little bit more. You see another step, closer to being totally confident and cutting it loose. But he's really done that. And I've been very, very impressed with that. And we've talked about it. And that sometimes that's not always easy to do. And he's accepted the challenge, did a great job of rehabbing it and, taking care of it. They did a great job with the medical staff and the training staff here to get him ready. And now it was part of, getting in on it. We were able to get some sled work to gain some confidence in his lower body, strength and explosiveness. And it's continuing, but yeah, very, very impressed with how he's responded.
Who else besides Aaron and Roy has stood out to you so far through these first few days in your group? Yeah.
Really, this early, I would rather talk about the group as a whole. And I've been pleased with the direction we're going, the attitude. I think we're taking a step. I talk to them about rents due every day. It doesn't matter what you did. It's this play. It's today. And I think they're buying into it. And we're trying to be more violent, more physical, attack. And so as a group, I'm impressed with it. I think the guys that have been here have adapted well and, have given the leadership that, we've got several young freshmen that have just come in, and they've got some good leaders, good older players that have shown the way. And so I'm excited. I think I still need another week or so just to really figure it out. We're getting there, but like I say, early on in this camp, I'd rather talk about the whole group right now.
We have time for one more question for Coach, and we'll go to Matt Moreno. Go AZ Cats.
Hey, Coach. I was just wondering, obviously, Trevon Mason was someone who had a significant amount of success last season. What are your expectations for him this season, and what have you seen from him, going back to the spring and even now through fall?
Yep. Probably the biggest thing that Trey and I have talked about is consistency in his approach to practice and his practice habits. And he has done a very good job with that. And I think you'll see, and he's seeing that, that if I'm more consistent and attack every snap in practice, then there's going to become improvement, and I'm going to be more prepared for what I have to do. And I think he's doing that. I think his teammates see that he's becoming a very accountable player to this football team, and he just needs to continue to work on his consistency and his mindset when he comes, to make sure that it's today. We got to be ready, and we've got to get better, and that's the accountability to himself and to his teammates. But I've been pleased so far with Trey.
All right, thank you, Coach. Everyone will be back in just a minute with Aaron Blackwell.
Thank you.
All right, Aaron, you're good to go. All right.
All right, we're ready to take questions for Aaron Blackwell. Please raise your hand. Yes, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
So, Aaron, you've been with Coach Egan for a little while now, going back to New Mexico. How would you describe your relationship with him and how it's evolved since you first met him?
You know, it's been a real great blessing in my life. He's been a great coach. I couldn't ask for a better coach in my life. You know, he's kind of like a grandpa to me now, which I kind of tell people is just the relationship we have. He's kind of like that old cranky old man. But, you know, he's the wisest guy. I've learned so much from him along the way, and I can't be more happy to be with him still.
And was he the reason why you came to Arizona, or what led you here?
You know, it was a very strange occurrence. I kind of entered the portal to see what my options were. I've been talking to Coach Sumlin. You know, I showed him my film, and then all of a sudden, boom, Coach Egan gets hired. It was kind of like the perfect storm. I've always been a fan of Arizona. I grew up here, you know, with ASU in Arizona growing up, and this has just been, you know, the best situation I could have asked for. It worked out.
Next question will go Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Aaron. Coach Egan was talking a lot about accountability when we just spoke to him. What does that mean to you as far as being in his room and what he asks you to do?
Absolutely. You know, it comes back to technique for me, holding your gap. You got to take pride in that. You know, a lot of guys want to get the sack, you know, make that big play, and sometimes getting out of your gap or, you know, trying to do something too much. You know, you try to do too much, you end up doing nothing. So accountability to me is doing your job every play. You know, you might not make the tackle every time, but if everyone did their job, you're going to make a play. It's just going to happen naturally. So I take pride in that, you know, just being 100% technique every time you get the chance.
Where's your health with the knee and also your confidence in it at this point compared to where you were in early March?
You know, I think I would say right now I'm about a year out. Year and a half out of surgery, or a year and a month out of surgery. I've been fully cleared and everything. I've been grinding every day since it happened, getting it back to perfect condition. There's always going to be a little shake here and there. You know, I'm expecting scares throughout practice, but I feel amazing on it. I've had the best training staff I could have asked for. They've been helping me hand in hand, and I feel amazing with it. You know, you still feel a little jittery here and there, but I think with practice now, getting full pads and hitting at full speed, I'm gaining confidence every day, and it feels great.
Were you able to rehab as normal, quote unquote, during the pandemic?
You know, it was a little unorthodox, but I got to give mad shout out to the training staff here. When everybody got sent home, I was kind of left there thinking, okay, I got to do this by myself. And they ended up Zoom calling me almost every day, working with me for about an hour and a half. I built a little training room in my garage. They showed me how to build building blocks, do certain things with weights at home. And we grinded every day, and they helped me every step along the way. They didn't leave me hanging. So this training staff here was a blessing in my life, and they're the reason why I'm so healthy where I'm at right now.
Next question will go David Kelly, KVOA.
Hey, Aaron, you kind of described Coach Egan as a cranky old guy. I mean, he definitely comes off as loud when you watch him on the field. How long did it take you to kind of get used to his style of coaching, and how did you maybe try to translate that to your new teammates that, hey, this is what to expect from Coach?
You know, it's a learning curve for sure. And you can see it in the guys' eyes here. They're still kind of getting the hang of it. You know, I pray to God I have the energy that old man has when I'm his age, because it is unbelievable. Like, I hope everybody gets to see him this season. But I just have to convey to the guys, like, he's going to have more energy than anyone on that field, and you're going to try to compete with him and stay up with him. But it's a race with that old timer. But he's just lights out, and it's always amazing to see how much energy he can infuse into you at his age.
Next question will go back to Justin Spears.
So, Aaron, you grew up in the Phoenix area. I'm curious, what was your perception of U of A football growing up?
Oh, man, it was, the Arizona rivalry. I was closer to ASU, but they were always more the flash guys. They had always had, a little more shine to them. U of A was always the group. I was a big Scooby Wright fan growing up. That guy was a beast. But, it was always cool to see just the competitiveness going on around here in the state, and it was always fun to watch. I got out here for a couple of games back in the day. I remember seeing the Utah game back when I was younger, a freshman, and it was just awesome. So it was always, a big idol. Any kid growing up on the West Coast watches Pac-12 football. It's the dream for a West Coast guy to play Pac-12 football. So being here at the school now for my last year, it was the greatest thing I could ask for, and I'm more excited than anything to be a part of it.
What was the most memorable U of A game that you watched?
Oh, man, I got to go back to – I can't remember what year it was. It was the ASU versus U of A game where it was close as hell, and they ended up coming back last second. I can't remember the exact year, but I can't remember. But it was a close one.
All right, next question will go back to Michael Lev.
From a strength standpoint, where are you at compared to, let's say, your peak at New Mexico?
It's been a very fundamental change for me. I was a real bottom-heavy guy. Everybody see my squat video. I was a big squat dude. But when you lose when you lose your knee, I've been telling guys you work on something else. I was benching hard. I got my bench up huge. I think a couple months ago I ended up getting my bench rep max up to like 38 or 39. So that was a big accomplishment for me. But I finally got my legs back to where I feel they're pretty even strength. I'm repping out, I'm not going super heavy. It's more of like a movement thing to get that athleticism back and that confidence back on the one leg. There's still a little girth that you're looking for there, but the strength in my mind, it's perfectly even.
When you say 38 or 39 reps, how much weight?
225.
225. Okay. Who among the freshman defensive linemen have stood out to you so far, and are you mentoring any one or two of them in particular?
I always take pride in helping the younger guys come along, and I got to give a shout to Coach Sumlin because he has recruited some amazing freshmen. They've all been great. One that stood out right now, off the top of my head, Reagan Terry has been lights out. He shows up every day with the right attitude. He's always asking questions, learning, and he's just showed up immensely with great effort. He's got great technique. I don't know what high school he came from. His coaches did a damn good job getting him ready, and he's been playing lights out so far.
All right, we have time for one more question. We'll go to Brian Peterson, AZ Desert Swarm.
Aaron, when games are on TV, often they'll show players on the sideline, particularly if they have an interesting hairstyle or whatnot, and try to break down that. Is there any story to your flow if you always played with the long hair and the beard?
It was kind of a thing I decided my senior year in high school. I was a great big Green Bay Packers fan, and one thing I noticed was all their linemen had, this luscious long hair. So I was like, if I want to get any looks from them, I got to start growing it out immediately. And, I started growing it out, and I've had the long hair ever since I've been in college, and it's just been a kick-ass deal for me.
So it's been about 5 years since you've cut it?
I actually just got trimmed. It was down damn near to my butt crack, so I had to get trimmed. It was getting caught up in my pads and everything, so I just cut it down here, so it's actually kind of evened out because I like to have it down in the game so you can kind of rock out a little bit. But, it was, I'd say 6 years since I actually cut it down back to a buzz cut.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, Aaron. We'll be right back in just a minute with Peyton Fears. All right, we're ready to start taking questions for Peyton Fears. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Yes, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
Peyton, so you've played one season at Arizona. Last year was your first year. How has it been so far, and what's your takeaway from being a part of the program?
It's been a really good experience so far. Over this past year, I learned a lot from my teammates, and it's a big difference from where I came from. So,
And are you playing right tackle or left tackle?
I would be playing right tackle.
Next question, Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey, Peyton. I believe the quote from Josh McCauley the other day was that Peyton has worked his ass off in the off season. What type of work did you put in? What were you able to do during the quarantine period?
Coach Sumlin and the training staff, the training coaches, they did a lot so that we can come in and lift weights and work out. So I made sure that I was there as much as I could, because Corona, we couldn't be here physically. So I tried to do as much as I could, get into the weight room. That's where I was. So.
How do you feel like you have improved as a player over the last year or so?
Technique-wise, I feel like I improved a lot, and just overall my knowledge of football, it has grown a lot.
Next question will go David Kelly, KVOA.
Hey, Peyton, how would you best describe, I guess, the differences that you've seen from Grant from when he first stepped in the huddle against UCLA to where he is right now?
Grant is a great player. He's worked really, really hard, and he wants to improve and improve. He took over the leadership role. So like this past year, he's became a really, really good leader, and he's just making sure that we're all together and just one unit. So when we go out there, we can dominate.
What was that 48 hours like for you and the rest of the line when Donovan Laie announced he was leaving and then changed his mind and decided to stay? What was that 48-hour period like for you guys?
It was, of course, it was a little nerve-wracking. You don't want to see your brother leave, but I'm just glad that we have him back.
What do you love most about him?
He's a hard worker, and he loves to push people around him. He's never gonna give up, so that's what I like about him.
Next question will go back to Michael Lev.
Yeah, obviously Edgar isn't with the team right now. So who's your kind of primary competition at right tackle?
We have a lot of great guys, a lot of great freshmen that come in. I think you're going to see a lot of players that you didn't see last season. The guy that's been working, or that I've been competing with, is David Watson, and he's a hard worker. We push each other. We give each other advice. He watches me. I watch him. So.
You mentioned the freshmen. Is there any one in particular from that group, or maybe more than one guy who you're kind of taking under your wing and serving as a mentor to?
Tackle-wise, I try to talk to Woody Jean, and then Jacob. I try to give him pointers on technique and stuff that I've learned over the year.
What are some of the things that you will tell them? Technique, what else?
Maybe how they can improve their stance, or their set, so that they don't get beat outside, or just little things like that to start them off, help them.
Our next question will go back to Justin Spears.
What impressed you the most about how Jordan Morgan was able to step in last year and get some playing time? What have you noticed about him since then?
He's a fighter. He's very eager to learn, and he's always asking questions, and he always wants to get better. So I mean, that's something that he's never lost, and he's gonna keep improving on, or help him keep improving.
We have time for one more question. We'll go back to Michael Lev.
Grant the other day seemed really insulted by some of the predictions that I guess he's seen about you guys for this year. Some people saying you might go 0-7. What do you think about that?
I'm not really worried about what everybody else thinks. I'm confident in my teammates, and right now we're focused on us and getting better.
Losing 7 games in a row to end last season, does that affect your preparation, your approach? Is there any sort of greater sense of urgency than there might be otherwise?
Of course, we want to come into the new season hungry, and start off strong and finish strong. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That's all we have for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow evening after practice.